Right guys, my name is Brummie and welcome back to episode 7 of Championship Transfer News. Today we're going to go through all the movements in the Championship, and there has been quite a few to be honest, and I'm telling you, there's some positive news with Birmingham City. I know. So I'm going to try and keep you up to date whilst this time trying not to lose half my body weight in sweat. I've cooled down the room a little bit, but the windows are closed, the fan is off. No jacket today though. Before we get into it, I just want to thank our sponsors again, OneFootball. If you haven't checked out the app yet, please make sure you do. Link in the description. Give it a go. It's free and it gives you all the transfer news ahead of the new season. All the latest scores as well. You can set your favourite team. Prepare yourself, ladies and gentlemen. On to the football news anyway. Now, looking at Birmingham's current situation within financial fair play, they need money from somewhere. We either sell players, which we don't want to do, or we can get cash windfalls from other areas. Now, Jack Butland has got a 15% sell-on fee from when we sold him to Stoke. Chelsea are in need of a goalkeeper. It's one of them. It's one of them, you know. So Courtois is looking to move to Spain, potentially Real Madrid, as his two kids are over there. Family reasons. He misses home, bit homesick, wants to go back. That means Chelsea are in need of a goalkeeper, and they're not going to let Courtois go until they get one. Now, Chelsea have got three options when it comes down to a goalkeeper. They've got Jordan Pickford, who seems to be their first option, Kasper Schmeichel, second option, and Jack Butland. Now, I think he's going to be Jack Butland just because it's going to be a lot easier to get him. He's currently playing for a Championship side, but he's England's number 2. If he has any hopes of getting that number 1 spot by the time we get to the Euros, he needs to play for a Premier League club. Stoke don't really want to get rid of him, but if Chelsea come in with a good enough bid, they're going to have to accept it. Especially if Jack starts to force the move. If that happens, we're going to get between 15 and 25%. I think it's 15. But that money will be used to help ease our situation and potentially raise the transfer embargo, meaning that Christian Pedersen could finally be registered. Almagier has reported that he's currently not registered. Dong has allegedly been lying, telling a few fibs. But yeah, I don't think Gary Monk's going to be happy about that. So really, Blues fans, we want Jack Butland to move at any cost. Hopefully he goes for a higher value, as the higher the value, the more money we get. In other Birmingham City news, we are currently looking at a loan for Arsenal's Joshua Da Silva. Now, he's currently an England under-20 international, and he's held in quite high regard by the Arsenal fans. His main strengths are his strength and his passing. This was originally reported by We Are Birmingham, so big shout out to them. They're usually quite accurate, and other outlets such as Birmingham Mail, etc. have now reported it as well. Now, although we are under a transfer embargo, we are able to sign frees and loans apparently, as long as they come under a certain wage cap. So if we could get this, it would be a good replacement for David Davies, who, as we know, is out with an ankle injury. I don't know how long that's going to be for, but we do need a midfielder. We needed a midfielder before he got injured, so that would be great. Still, we need a goalkeeper. My thoughts are, is he going to bring Kujak or Stockdale back into the fold, or will he trust Conor Truman with that number 1 role? He hasn't played a Championship game yet, but he's shown potential in the pre-season games, and he's definitely exceeded my expectations, but I'm still unsure as to whether he can really cut it at Championship level. One thing that we can take from this season is that it's going to give our youth players a big chance. It's going to be their season to lose. You know, we're short on players, we might have to rely on a few of them, and some of them can step up. We saw how Wes Harding stepped up last season. I truly believe some of them can do the same. One player as well, Charlie Lakin, I think can really step up this season. So if anything, it's an exciting season for the youth prospects. We've got nothing to lose, and we had a terrible season last season with the expectations. I'm going to go more into this on a separate video and try and bring some positivity as we go into the new season. Stay positive and keep right on. But let's get into more transfer news, as this isn't just a Birmingham City video. However, if there is anything to go by from this, it shows that Gary Monk is willing to push on and doesn't look like leaving at the minute. That would be a disaster if he left. Like, I do think he'll do well with the team, but if we lost Gary Monk, I don't know what manager we could bring in. Next up, we're going to head over to B6 as Aston Villa look to strengthen in their striking department. They've got 4 strikers out injured at the minute, and they do need someone in the same mould as Lewis Grabban last season, who was so successful for them. They're aiming high. They want to get Tammy Abraham on loan from Chelsea. Chelsea are looking at loaning him out, and they definitely will by the end of the window, but it's uncertain as to where he's going to go yet. It's reported that Tammy Abraham does want a move, and he will favour a move to a Premier League club, so please, please move to a Premier League club. Don't go to Aston Villa. I think Steve Bruce is just throwing his hat in the ring here and he's going to say, look, if you want to come, the door's open. But he is looking at other options, probably more realistic options. Also, to do with Aston Villa, we've got Jack Grealish. Now, Spurs are not giving up on him. So even though Aston Villa have had massive investment, meaning that they don't have to sell anyone on the cheap really, Spurs are still after Jack Grealish. It just means he's going to go for a little bit more than first expected. Obviously Steve Bruce is desperate to hang on to the player that was so vital to their successful campaign last season. They did fail in the playoffs, but all in all, it was a successful season. Now, the player himself is believed to be keen on a move to Spurs, with him wanting to work with Pochettino. Obviously, he's got such a great reputation with young players, and obviously getting them into the England squad, as how many of the England squad are Spurs players at the minute, or former Spurs players. And Bruce is not expected to stand in the way, as Grealish might want to leave. I think he's being a bit quiet on it, though. Obviously, he's pretty much a cult hero at Aston Villa. Will he be there at the end of the season? Let me know down in the comments. Villa fans, come on, let's keep it friendly, eh? Let's keep it friendly. It's a neutral zone. Well, it's not. It's not. I'm trying to keep it a neutral zone, you know. This one could drag out right until deadline day, really. I think Jack's going to keep fairly quiet on it. If he stays, he's going to be like, oh, I want it to stay forever. I think the key piece of advice for me is don't do a Fabian Delph. Don't commit yourself and then leave. So we'll have to see about that one. Obviously, as a Blues fan, I want him to go. Next up, Swansea's Alfie Mawson looks to be moving to Fulham. So he's got relegated from the Premier League and he's jumping straight back up there with Fulham. Now, Fulham look like an absolute force. They're making some real good signings for this Premier League campaign. Obviously, they want to stay there. Now, they've already made signings like Seri, Andrei Schürrle, Alexander Mitrovic. They're going to be a force next season. If you guys would like me to do Premier League predictions for next season, let me know down in the comments as well. That could be a potential video. Now, Hull were after Brighton winger Yuri Skalak, and they did have a bid rejected earlier in the summer, but it looks like Millwall have stepped in with a transfer record bid for them of 800 grand, and they seem to have secured the services of him. It's not a done deal yet, but it looks like it's about to happen. They've agreed personal terms, so I believe it's just subject to a medical now. This would be a really good signing for Millwall, and it could signal their intent to want to stay in the league again. Obviously, they had a great first season. They just don't want to have that second season syndrome. Hull fans, are you disappointed with this? Do you wish you'd have gone in a bit more for him? You know, he's got Premier League experience. He's a good player. Let me know in the comments. I'm sure you'll have heard about QPR's trouble with financial fair play. They've got an embargo scheduled for January. That was kind of the EFL, but obviously it's for financial fair play infringements from back in like 2011, 2012. So there's a lot of money that they're going to have to pay back, and they are looking to sell some players. The new manager, Steve McLaren, insists that they don't have to sell, but one player, Luke Freeman, they will sell for their valuation of roughly $3 million. Now, this will be about 10 times what they paid for him last summer, so it's going to be a bit of good business for him. Sheffield United, West Brom and Middlesbrough are all after the QPR forward. I've had to take my dog because he keeps barking. You keep barking in the video, mate. Alright, I'm just going to keep my dog here. You're right. So today, you know, we've got a bit of transfer news, some stuff going on. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll catch you later. So Steve McLaren insists that they don't need to sell, but if the valuation is met for the 26-year-old, then goodbye, Luke Freeman. In other news, Curtis Tilt has handed in a transfer request at Blackpool. I did report a few episodes ago that Ipswich were after him, and they have had 2 bids rejected, the latest I believe to be around 600 grand. But the 26-year-old is trying to force the move as he's handed in a transfer request, as he looks to make the step up to the Championship. Ipswich's last bid of around 600k was rejected by Blackpool, but with the player handing in a transfer request, I don't think it's right keeping them, just because morale, dressing room and stuff. So I imagine their next bid should be accepted. You know, it's one of them. If a player wants to go, let him go. If you love them, let them go. On to the done deals. Leeds have signed Patrick Bamford from Middlesbrough. They were after a striker all transfer window, really. You know, the rumours of Abel Hernandez, who has actually failed a medical at CSKA Moscow, so unlucky, mate. He's going to have to drop his wage demands if they're going to take a risk on him. But yeah, Patrick Bamford signs on a 4-year deal, and this is Leeds' most expensive signing since they signed Robbie Fowler in 2001 for 11 million from Liverpool. The 24-year-old scored 11 goals last season, averaging a goal every 192 minutes. Not exactly prolific,
but we know he's got potential. We know he's done well before. You know, it's a good move for him. It's a good move. Now on to Swansea again, and they have signed Bersant Shalina on a 4-year deal from Man City. The 21-year-old Kosovo winger spent last season on loan at Ipswich Town, scoring 8 times in 38 appearances. He had a pretty good season, and I think it's a good move for him. It's the right time for him to move. He's obviously not going to get any time at Man City, and it could be a decent little signing for Swansea. But they don't mess about. They've already signed another swinger. They've already signed another winger as well from Nottingham Forest. 23-year-old Barry McKay has joined on a 3-year deal. The former Rangers and Scotland one-cap international scored 5 goals and got 8 assists last season. Both could make their debut on Saturday in Swansea's opener away at Sheffield United. Next up, George Evans has wound up a few Reading fans by saying he has joined a massive club in Derby. Now, obviously, the law of Frank Lampard is a major factor, and it's probably the reason he's managed to get the deals that he has. He's had a limited budget, but he's made some good additions to the squad, and I'd probably be pretty happy if I was a Derby fan right now. The 23-year-old became Lampard's 5th signing of the summer, and although he struggled with some injury problems last season, he was part of the Reading side that reached the playoff final in the 16-17 season. It's got to be a bit of a dig at Reading, that, you know, saying that Derby is a massive club. I mean, you know how triggered the Brentford fans got last season, don't you? So yes, there is another Ronaldo in Italy. Ronaldo Vieira has passed the medical ahead of a 5-year deal with Sampdoria. A £7 million fee was agreed with Leeds, as Marco Bielsa has decided that he doesn't really want to keep him around anymore. He wants to cash in on the young prospect, as he didn't have the best of seasons last time. At just 20 years of age, the midfielder has impressed at Leeds, getting 60 appearances, but he just failed to impress last season, and that is why Marco Bielsa wants to move him on. And finally, Boaz Myhill was a free agent. He was looking around. There were several championship clubs after him, including Birmingham, but he has now signed a 1-year deal with West Brom after being initially released. He will be a backup again, as West Brom signed Sam Johnson earlier in the summer transfer window. Was there anything I missed? Please let me know down in the comments. If you have enjoyed it, please drop a like and hit subscribe. It means so much, and I want to keep these coming out more regularly as we reach the end of the transfer window. The business is picking up now as the World Cup's over. There's more to report on. The episodes are getting longer. There's more excitement, and there's still barely anything going on at Blues. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've been Brummie Joe. I will catch you next time. Check out the video that's about to pop up. Why not? Come on, you're bored. I will catch you later, and I'm about to stick the fan back on. I can't wait. I'm going to do it now. Look at this. That's it. Catch you next time.